On this session of Intrigue Teaches, we're going to design a gorgeous bouquet using this beautiful micro delphinium. This is called Delphinium Trick. This is new to the market. It's bred by Ball, who's this really cool breeder of flowers and comes up with these really inventive blooms for us to use as designers. And what I want to do is I want to create a bouquet using the three varieties. So these Delphinium Trick, they come in three colors. They come in this gorgeous buttercream yellow tone, they come in this lavender tone, and they come in this pink tone. So I'm going to use all three colors to create this bouquet. And in order to do it, I've separated my stems out. I'm not going to use all of these stems, but I wanted to give myself a nice variety. So you can see some, as with any flower, some are just a little bit different. This one's a little bit longer, this one's a little bit shorter, and some are a little fuller, some are less full. So I lay them out so that I can get a feel for what I have to work with, and I can choose as I'm going. And I'm going to talk with you why I'm choosing each of these stems. We're going to do a very simple spiral for this. If you don't know how to do the spiral method yet, I've got lots of videos that'll talk to you about the spiral. And I'm going to talk you through this as we're going. So with your spiral, this little bloom is going to come off. Look how cute it is. It kind of looks like an orchid. It's got the petals on the outside and the little bloom right on the inside. It's so sweet. So that one I pulled off just because it's a little floppy. So if you see any of the blooms that are a little floppy, just go ahead and pull them off or cut them off. And then to start your spiral, I have a very, very simple technique. The first stem goes straight up, and every other stem after that is going to cross. So first stem straight up, and then we're going to cross over. And then, so I'm starting with my white, and I'm going to go to my lavender, and I'm not going to actually pull these greens, these lower greens off. I don't want those on there. And I'm going to cross over. So just like that, I'm crossing over, and try not to overthink. I'm going to go with 3 lavender blooms, and then I'm going to mix in some of my whites, and I'm just very delicately allowing these flowers to just fall into the spiral shape. Now you can see this one, I don't have blooms on the bottom. Not worried about that. I'm still going to pop them in because you're not going to see that on the bottom. And then we have some length, we have some fullness, we have some that are a little bit more sparse. Sparse isn't the right word. They're all very full. Some are more full than others. So I put in a couple of my whites. Excuse me, they're not white, they're yellows. And then I'm adding my lavenders, and I'm actually saving the pink for the last bit because I feel like as far as a color balance, I have more power and more strength with these lavender and yellows together. I really like how the lavender pulls this creamy yellow tone. See the middle of the lavender bloom? It's got this creamy yellow tone right about here, and that picks up this yellow creaminess in the other ones. I think it looks really nice together. So I'm just crossing over, and again I'm allowing these stems to spiral very naturally in my hand. And you know, I said I wasn't going to use all these, but I actually might. I tend to like a big bouquet, so I'm going again. This one has got a little bit more length to it, so where the previous one is just a touch shorter, this next one is going to reach just above that. And I'm not thinking too much into my design. I'm just placing. There we go. I'm going to add these creams. I want to call them white, but they are yellow. When you order them, they are called yellow. If you have trouble finding these at your wholesaler right now, it's because they are new to the market. So just ask your wholesaler for the Delphinium Trick. These are these small little micro stems of Delphinium, and they can get their hands on them. They are developed by Ball, so if your wholesaler doesn't know what they are, just have them reach out to Ball, and I'm sure that they will get them in touch with the right places, or get them the seeds so that their farms can start growing these. There we go. Look at that. It's a really, really nice spray. Hey, Jordan, could you bring me some more lavender? I think I want about another dozen or so. You don't have to count them. Bring me another dozen or so, a bunch of lavender, and then a few more of the cream as well. Always great to have Jordan here just to help behind the scenes. She's such a wonderful support. I know you guys saw us working together on Netflix, which is so crazy. We work together like this on a regular basis, although she's very happy now to not be the one that has to be physically doing the design and back to a support role. Although I thought she rocked it, and I was so happy to have her with me. Thank you very much, Jordan. All right, so because I'm going to end with those pinks, I don't want it to go too pink heavy. I really want to make sure I've got some great fullness here. I'd originally pulled 30 stems, but I'm going to put more than 30. I'm probably going to go closer to 40 stems in this bouquet. And that is really because I want some really good movement on this, and I want some good size. So it's a little bit different when you're using a line flower, because the line flower is going to spread out with kind of these arms and these legs, right? Whereas a rounded flower is going to mound all together. So when you're designing, it's often important to allow yourself the space to make changes and adjustments so that you really are truly happy with your finished product. And again, I'm continuing to layer in just like I did in the beginning, and I'm bouncing between the lavenders and the whites. Oh my gosh, I'm so delighted with this. So delighted. Oops. Thank you very much, Jordan. These are perfect. You can see that perfect spiral there. I just love all the flowers. I want to make sure all the blooms are above where I'm holding them. Don't want any blooms below that. Feeling like I'm coming to a good space. And once I get to where I feel like I'm done, then I'll go ahead and add those pinks in. Feeling good. I'm just going to spin this around, holding it very loosely, allowing this bounce, allowing this movement until I decide to tape it off. So as I'm spinning it around, if I feel like I need to add another layer, I'm just going to go in and add it. I like to have a little bit of space in the middle when I'm doing this bouquet that is a very line-driven bouquet. Oh, so pretty. All right, I know I want to add a little bit of this pink, so I want you to see. Now, the reason I didn't lead with this pink is just because I wanted the story to really be about this lavender and this buttercream here. And look what happens when we add this pink into the mix. Isn't that a nice connection? It's just a really nice connection of those two colors. But if I were to be placing this at the same time, I feel like I would have gone too heavy-handed on the pink, and it would read more as a pink bouquet. So now that I've got the bouquet where I want it, now I'm going to just start to dot in these pinks. I'm even going to place this one straight in the middle, and very loosely with my spiral, I'm going to work this in very, very loosely, and then I'm just going to make sure that it stays within this, oh, so pretty. Making sure it stays within the spiral that I have created, even though I'm going straight in. It's very important that I still keep the integrity of that spiral. Feel where it's going through my hand and just push it right through. And you see I'm starting to fill in a little bit of those holes that I left in the middle. It is amazing. I've only put 2, maybe 3 of these stems in, and it has made the most beautiful, delicate change. Let's see, I might just need one more. Oh, I love this bouquet. I love this. You know, when I decided to make a bouquet that was all line flower, I was a little nervous. And once I put it together, I knew that this was going to be something that spoke to me. It's different. You know, different can be scary. Different can take some getting used to. It's okay to be different. All right, I said I was just going to put like 1 or 2 more, but I always have room for some extra flowers. Oh my gosh. All right, one more, just one more. Oh, you are perfection. My beautiful pink trick delphinium that I will love forever. Oh, when this bride gets her hands on you, her heart is going to patter. All right, I could keep going and going and going, but I am going to resist. I have with me my Bind It tape, which is amazing. Bind It tape is this crazy sticky adhesive that isn't really sticky until it sticks to itself, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to cut a piece about 4 to 5 inches long, and I'm cutting it a little bit longer than I would for a normal bouquet because I want to allow this bouquet to continue to have a little bit of the looseness, and that means I'm going to have to put my Bind It tape on a little looser than I would do if I was doing a dozen roses in a bouquet. So to hold this, to apply this tape, you literally just hold it onto the flowers and you pull it around. And I only wanted to pull it as tight as I want the actual bouquet to be. And remember, I'm going to go a little looser on this. And you stick it to itself. And it honestly doesn't stick to anything except for itself, which makes it really, really unique. So there I have it. It is still nice and loose so that I can still make movements and adjustments, but none of these flowers are going to fall out. It's kind of like this miracle tool. Now I'm going to go ahead, and I've made quite a mess for myself. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trim these stems, and I want to trim them fairly short. So I try to trim them to my shortest stem. So as you know, when I was placing these, some went in a little taller and some went out a little shorter. And here's my shortest stem here. So I want to make sure everything is cut to that height, because when we put it in our water, we want all the stems to actually be able to drink. The Delphinium, they need lots of hydration. So if you have any of those stems that aren't hitting the water, they're going to miss that hydration. Let's give them a cut. Let's see. Now, there's a little trick, and there is a quick tip for this if you want to watch this separately. My little trick to get this bouquet to stand on its own is I'm going to cut the interior stems shorter than the exterior stems, and it creates this little platform. Now again, I still want to make sure they can all hit the water and they can all drink, but it creates this platform so that the bouquet itself can stand. And just make sure when it does go in the water that, there we go, that every stem actually gets hydration. So before I even attach my ribbon, I'm going to pop it down and just make sure it can actually stand on its own. Some twisting and adjustments. There we go. That's when I know that I've done a proper spiral, when that bouquet can actually stand all by itself. Now, that bouquet is not finished. It needs a little bit of ribbon. Every bouquet needs a little bit of ribbon. And I have pulled just a single strand of this very soft country blue, and I felt like that country blue just highlighted it so nicely. And I want to trim the edges. Oops, got a little bit of water on this. I'm going to trim the edges once it's on. So very simply, I'm just going to wrap right around the bouquet, and this is not going to get a traditional bow. I want to have a little bit of streamers, but I don't want this floppy bow today. I know usually I like my bows, but not today. Today, I'm just going to give it a little twist. And it's so light and so simple. And once I give it the little twist, I'm going to make sure that I put a pin in it. Put a pin in it. I'm going to put a pin in it so that it stays. Now, you could easily do a bow if you wanted a bow. I'm just not feeling bows today. I'm just not feeling bows today. So when you are just giving it this quick tie, this twist tie, if you don't put a pin in it, it will actually come loose. So here I have these little bitty pixie pins. They're really, really tiny. I'm going to take that one pin and I'm going to go straight in till it connects with the stems. I don't really want to see the pin, so I'm going to fold the ribbon over so it's not what I'm looking at. And then I've got these wonderful little streamers here, and I'm just going to cut them at an angle. Very, very simple. So I've got a subtle ribbon streamer, and I like it's got this grow grain. It's kind of country. It's just playful. Isn't that pretty? And so easy. Thank you to Ball for creating these awesome trick delphinium. I need them in my life all the time.